Many cases, there are people cases have been there 20 years, 10 years, and never sat on it. But this particular one, then he was rushed and fixed judgment. He fixed judgment on this matter to happen like last 2 weeks or thereabouts. Accord party, APP, other parties went to appeal court and said, appeal court, we don't know what this man is doing because he has abused all the non-judicial process and rules in trying to arrive at a determination to deliver judgment at all costs. Appeal court, in a landmark ruling by Mohammed Danjuma, Adebukonola Banjoko, and Oyojojo Oyowomi. Sorry if I didn't get the name right. Justice Oyowomi, Banjoko, and Danjuma, in a ruling, arrested the proceedings of this judge because they know him. They know what he did to PDP. They know what he did in Rivers. They know what he has done in different cases that have destroyed democracy and is on the verge of burning down our entire country democratic process. The appeal court restrained him, barred this judge from proceeding with these things he is doing in his court, pending determination of the appeal that is at the very heart of what he's doing, both on jurisdiction, both on rulings that is unknown and strange to the law. People now went home. Because we heard before that, oh, they don't want a delegate to be on the ballot, so let's, the people who are selling that now added a delegate there too. But it's their own personal fears in Rivers that they are running away from. And they're trying to make it look like a national issue. Because they don't want people to participate. They will disqualify candidates. They will disqualify everybody. They will get injunction in the night. Now they don't want political parties to do it because of their personal fear. Because they have committed a lot of atrocities that they are so scared of what will happen to them if their own candidate does not win. If the CJN is listening, if the NJC members are listening, this is on you people. Nigerians will, this will be the end of Nigerians having confidence in the NJC or whatever you call it if this Justice Lifu is not removed and arrested and prosecuted for what he has done. Nigerians will be watching you. There have been many judges who have tried this in the past. They were dealt with. So let's see whether NJC, CJN, Appeal Court, they still have any boss left in them on this matter. Because what is the issue? Appeal Court granted stay of proceeding. Do not move, Justice Lifu. Do not deliver this judgment, Justice Lifu. And this was served on this judge. Fully acknowledged that you should not proceed pending the determination of the appeal. Nigerians, do you know what this judge did today? Just today. The lawyers were added into a WhatsApp platform around either 8 a.m. or 9, 10 a.m. Then 2 hours to the time of dropping this in, a text message, almost around 10 a.m. or thereabout. A text message now came, telling the lawyers, please come to court, there will be judgment. Less than 1 hour and something or 2 hours. It doesn't even up to 2 hours. Like he got up from sleep and said, come, there will be judgment. In a matter that appeal court have granted a unanimous ruling, telling you as a judge of a federal high court, a lower court, to stay proceeding because you have committed a lot of errors which we are looking into. Maybe somebody somewhere must have told him that, to hell, it doesn't matter. Appeal court cannot tell me what to do. They said in the court he was shouting that when he finished, appeal court can do their own. Can you imagine that kind of thing? Do you know this institution is sacred, that after God is this institution, is not your own? You come and go. A nation that its judiciary can be predicted as a place people play Atlanta, that country is dead. That democracy is dead. And he came into the court. Lawyers told him, my lord, what are you about to do? This is judicial suicide. There is a ruling of the appeal court, a higher court, telling you to stay proceeding from this matter you are trying to touch. He was laughing in the court. That when he finished his own letter, appeal court to their own, like this has become, are we now operating in a motopact? Are we not? What are we operating? That he must deliver the judgment. That when he finished ruling it, anybody can, if you want to go to appeal, go. You want to demarcate these political parties, you want to create crisis for them. And lo and behold, despite this, which I will read in case if the CJN or the NJC members who are supposed to grab him and discipline him immediately, because if Lifu does not leave that federal high court, no Nigerian will take that federal high court. No Nigerian will do anything with that federal high court. In the appeal, and I'll read the what they said. Yes. Now, in road order, upon motion on notice filed on 04/05/2026 seeking the following, an order of this federal honorable court staying further proceeding in suit number Federal High Court /ABJ/CS/2637/2025 pending before the Federal High Court Abuja Division pending the hearing and determination of this appeal lodged before this honorable court delivered by Honorable Justice Peter O. Lifu on 27th day of April 2026. Now, this court on Friday, the 22nd day of May 2026, upon reading the motion on notice filed together with an affidavit in support deposed by the Afolabi Peace and after hearing Musibi Adetumbo SAN, AO Abdurrahman, and the sixth respondent was served on 21st May 2026 with hard copy on Counsel OBDK Peace, Secretary to Counsel. Thank God, Enohoro, for the 7 defendants. Now, what is the ruling of the Appeal Court? Mohammed Danjuma, Justice of the Appeal Court, alongside Banjoko Oyowemi Danjuma, now said, and as I'm reading, I want you also to be reading. It is hereby ordered that pursuant to Order 4, Rule 10, and 11 of the Court of Appeal Rules 2021, the application filed on 4th May 2026 is granted. I want you people, in case if you are distracted, so you understand the abomination that was committed today, but the audacity to say to hell with the appeal court and to strike down, attempt to strike down registered political parties. Now, he said the application is granted, staying further proceedings in the suit number FHC ABJ/CS/2637/2025, pending the hearing and determination of this appeal. This matter is adjourned to 27th 10/2026 for the hearing of the appeal. Josephine Ekporobe, Deputy Chief Registrar. Appeal Court, after application by the parties who already gotten wind of what is about to happen with the speed with which it was going, approached the Appeal Court. And Appeal Court delivered a landmark ruling urging Justice Lifu to stay up proceedings on the matter and adjourn the matter. Short, one of the matter is to come up tomorrow, and the judge is away. And he rushed today around 10 a.m., created a WhatsApp forum, told lawyers to come to his court in 2 hours, like a military commander, and urgently delivered a judgment to say INEC should go ahead and register political parties that INEC have told you clearly in INEC's own affidavit that these political parties have met all the requirements to exist. I want members of these political parties not to worry. Just like APP will be on the ballot, every political party will be on the ballot. Our nation cannot degenerate to that animal level. Our nation can't be allowed to degenerate to that level. We can't bring those culture of what happens in Mobutu Sese Seko's Zaire, in Nkurunziza's Burundi, Paul Biya's Cameroon, or what we call him, the other one from Zimbabwe, Mugabe and Emerson Mnangagwa. We can't go down to that level. Or Guinea, where one madman there tried to take away all political parties, and the military ended up overthrowing that country. Our country can't degenerate to that level. Because of these guys that are selling land, we can't degenerate to that level. These political parties will be on the ballot. Because that is what democracy entails. And that's what democracy is all about. So there's no cause for alarm. But all eyes on the judiciary. That you have to redeem yourself. You have to ensure that Lifu goes through the punishment system of the NJC immediately. As a matter of urgency. The same urgency with which he sent WhatsApp to tell lawyers to come in 2 hours to collect this thing. That's the same way NJC should see tomorrow and get this thing sorted out. To save the image of the country's judiciary. 3 Federal High Court judgments. 3 Federal High Court judgments. 1, Uyo, Federal High Court, Owerri. Another Federal High Court. 3 Federal High Court judgments have ruled on this political party and these issues that they have met all the requirements and they cannot be deregistered, barring INEC from doing that. And INEC obeyed. Appeal Court stepped in. Appeal Court, Supreme Court, few days ago. You cannot. And all these things were filed before this Federal High Court judge. He said, to hell with them. He doesn't care. He must say what he wants to say. Anybody can go to appeal after he has done the damage. Now, Appeal Court comes into the matter again, sensing the speed with which he's ignoring all these things, that he's up to something, and say, stop. Let us look at these issues. While people were sleeping, you send them WhatsApp message and say, come in 2 hours. Before you can say Jack, you even threaten one of the lawyers in court. Allow me to do what I want to do. And he read, asking INEC to go and an impossible task to go and deregister existing legitimate political party, like an invitation to anarchy. You want to throw the country into crisis, like Justice Payme did in Abiola's case, and we had riot and crisis. How do you think you can have an election when you exclude political parties? And then they are bringing another one on NDC political party before him also. So you now get NDC out, get ADC, get everybody in Nigeria out. Because your father owns the country. You pay special tax past some of us or what? Respect is end. Judicial institution belongs to all of us. After God comes judicial institution. Don't play around it. Not a place meant for selling lands. So, and for those who are joining us, after 3 Federal High Courts have settled the matter and spelled out what is required under Section 225A, that is ordinary councillorship, Appeal Court settled the matter and Supreme Court affirmed it. And these documents were filed before Justice Lifu. But this man vowed that he must put us in trouble as a country. And that nothing will happen. NJC cannot touch him. We're watching the NJC on this one. We're watching NBA. NBA is supposed to summon an emergency meeting for this man to dart the Appeal Court and say to her what Appeal Court have restrained him and go ahead and do the damage. All the lawyers must be barred from appearing before his court. No lawyer, any lawyer that goes there should be derobed. That time you take your powers and use it very well. He can't be appearing before them because everybody has no confidence in him. He's destroying what does not belong to him. So, apart from 3 Federal High Courts, Appeal Court, and Supreme Court resolving that what is required for a political party to exist is a minimum councillorship seat, or 1 seat, 1 local government in the governorship election, or 1 state in a presidential, or 1 state assembly seat. That's what 3 Federal High Court judgments have said in the last few weeks and months. And Appeal Court have affirmed, and Supreme Court have affirmed. A judge said, all these judicial precedents, to hell with them. I now begin to ask, why do we have a law report? Why do you have all these cases? If you say, let me do my own damage, you can go to appeal. So you can injure some people, you can affect them and create commotion in the country. Maybe they have an ulterior motive to destabilize the entire country. Now you did this kind of damage. Appeal Court comes in again and says, stay proceeding. Lawyers, do you understand what he has done to the sacred respect higher rulings have? That an appeal court will say, do not proceed in a matter that you have shown manifest bias, in a matter that you have even sat up to 8 p.m. and say, we know where you're going to. Wait, let us look at these issues. The man woke up in the middle of the night, rushed to court by 8 a.m., creates a WhatsApp forum, calls lawyers to come in 2 hours, and then delivers the judgment, even when he had been restrained by the appeal court, and they have filed an appeal to vacate the restraining order. Matter has been fixed for tomorrow, but he goes ahead as a lord. If then in them and other eminent jurists are, they will be weeping and crying, just in Nikki Toby them, all of them. That what have we gotten ourselves into? And they're telling you nothing will happen? And then you do this, even when there's an appeal court order on you. And Nigerians are watching. What kind of nation are we going to have? If we can now know that it does not matter, these things are predictable. The court is not like a market situated in Ladipo or in Onitsha, where there's no obedience to rules, order, and superior rulings. This is an act of treason that this man has committed. Because these things are sacred. These are orders of court. You can't commit this kind of content and go unpunished. And then back to what I was saying, apart from these three judgments, apart from this appeal court decision, apart from this Supreme Court decision, have resolved the issue of section 225A. That is minimum of councillorship. INEC now comes in. Usually INEC used to be the ones who complain about. But strangely, INEC was over-professional in this matter. And I want those who also listen to listen to what INEC said. Because INEC knew the danger of what the man and the people who put the case was trying to do. INEC in their filing, see, this is the INEC filing. It's a counter affidavit that in opposition to the case by INEC that I must comment on this particular one. INEC now said, in case you don't have respect for these three judgments of Federal High Court, you don't have respect for appeal court judgment, you don't have respect for Supreme Court judgment, you don't have respect for the restraining order of the appeal court, okay, now let us tell you as the custodian of registration and deregistration that we cannot deregister those political parties. And INEC now said in their affidavit, and I'll read because of those who are joining. INEC now said, in the case of ADC, he said, the third defendant, ADC, this from INEC, by the record of performance of political parties in the custody of INEC, have won 2 House of Representative seats, and those representative seats are in Kogi State. One is Ijumu Kaba, Bunu, and the other one is Yaba East, Yaba West, Muro Federal Constituency. Everybody knows Leke and the other guys who were elected under ADC. They are my colleagues, they sit here since 2023. And they have been, that's after 2023 general election. So by the record of INEC, which INEC filed before this same court, INEC, they said that ADC has satisfied the requirements of the relevant laws, having met the threshold of electoral performance. The record showing that performance was attached before what was filed before this judge. But he said no. His eyes, he blinded it. He doesn't want to see it. He must do what he wants to do. Then, on the issue of AA, INEC told them the same thing, that they cannot deregister them. On the issue of ZLP, INEC said again, in their affidavit before this judge, that ZLP has won, everybody knows Dan Wanyanwu and his party in Abia, that participated in the local government election of LSOT. He said, the ZLP has won chairmanship and councillorship election in Abia State. The Abia State Independent Electoral Commission certificate of return issued in favor of ZLP candidate for the offices of chairmanship and councillorship are attached and marked as exhibit and a PP5. ZLP, everybody saw it. And the INEC, that is even supposed to align with these enemies of democracy, INEC for the first time did more than required professionally to state declared our hand is not in this thing because it is nonsensical, it is evil, it is baseless. But the judge does not want to hear what the man who has the custody of the document is telling him. He wants to do the one that he wants to do in his head. Then INEC did not stop at that. INEC went to the issue of Accord party. And you know the painful part? There's a governorship election coming in Osun. All the political parties are almost done with their campaign, getting ready. If you don't want Adeleke and their people, you go to an election, you defeat them. So you want to use the Gurubu way to stop Adeleke them from participating in the election. Just look at how barbaric these people think. These are democracies that people fought so hard to retrieve from Abacha and their people. Because of people are hungry, either for land or hungry. That's scared little guys. Are not trying because they have access to money. They realize from selling land and all those things. Then they don't want to turn all the effort of Tafa Belowa, Awolowo, Azikiwe. Look at these elements. And because we have elders who cannot speak truth to power any longer, you allow children, you're supposed to say, come on, get out from here. Playing with fire. In something their father never made any contribution, they themselves never made any contribution, that they have profited from it. And then you look at sacred institutions of judiciary. Just want to burn it to the ground. How are our children going to survive in this in this madness? At this stage, you ignore 3 judgments of Federal High Court that is served on you and filed before you. You ignore appeal court decision. You ignore Supreme Court decision of some few days ago. You now ignore appeal court order restraining you from proceeding. Still proceeding. You say to her with appeal court and you create a WhatsApp forum and tell lawyers to come in 30 minutes, 2 hours to come and receive a judgment. And then INEC that is in custody of these documents on political party calls you and tells you the record we have as a constitutional body that is mandated for registration and deregistration is that these political parties have met all the minimum constitutional requirements. But this man said, no, it doesn't matter. I will do what I want to do. Because he did the one in Rivers, nothing happened. They did the one in PDP, nothing happened. They did the one in the Labour Party, they did it, nothing happened. NJC was incapacitated not to do anything. And they are playing with something that is sacred to all of us. Something that the British helped to build and handed over to our people. Now we have returned it basically to what that people, citizens have lost faith. With multiplicity of problems and with a judiciary that descends to this part, then do you have a country? Do you have a democracy? Not even a Abacha military rule could do this. They didn't turn the course to this kind of thing. Not even Babangida them. The only attempt they made with Justice Ikpeme ended in disaster for the woman who even did it and cost the country so much for our democracy. So, INEC said, I know why I keep pointing on this INEC position. INEC said that Accord Party has met the threshold stipulated in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Accord, by the record of INEC, won a State House of Assembly election in Idato South. I remember that election. It was won by Azodo, a young man from Ubele. I backed that election, even in exile, and he won. I remember that election. It was with Accord. Now, and they attached it and gave to you. You say it does not matter. It's that one that the crazy man from Ahia's abroad that you will listen to. Now, you now come to APP. They now told you again, that by the record in the custody of INEC, APP has won a chairmanship election and councillorship in Jigawa. And then they said the Jigawa State Independent Electoral Commission Certificate of Return, dated 6th October 2024, issued to Usman Alhaji Ali of APP and declared the result together are attached, and that was attached. We went further to even attach them that even when INEC tried to do the first deregistration, there was an order of an FCT High Court barring them because they did not meet the constitutional requirement to do that, and that order was still in existence up to the time APP won their seats. So on what ground did he include APP there? On what ground did he include ADC that have won 2 House of Rep seats in 2 House of Rep seats one in Ijumu Kababunu, the other one is in Yaba East, Yaba West. Everybody knows my colleague Lekki. He may not be in the opposition now, but at least everybody saw him. He's Chairman Customs, the fair guy that wears a RAN cap. He won under ADC. ADC have a seat. What they even require is just a councillorship seat, but they have 2 House of Rep seats. These are facts that are in public domain, no? But that judge did not see it. Now, it didn't stop at that. It tells you about Accord. It tells you about ZLP by Dan Wanyanwu that won chairmanship and councillorship, about 19 of them, in Abia State under LXOT. Those certificates was attached before this judge because he does not want to, because he thinks he owns the country. And I look at lawyers and ask, what kind of profession are you? Lawyers are known for strength and activism. If it was into the days of Lagos movement, Azikiwe, Balowa, Makola, this will not happen. You can only do it once. Because what you are playing with is not your own. Especially when the facts are in public domain. This is not the first time. So, all these political parties have met all the requirements required for political parties to exist under Section 225A. But he did not see it. Then even if he did not see it, Appeal now tells you, oh, state proceedings. This judge looked at Appeal Court, a landmark anonymous ruling Nigerians of Justice Danjuma, Banjoko, and Oyewemi, and said to her with it, and resurrected the case and sent the WhatsApp text in 2 hours and said, come. And then most of the lawyers were not even in court. He went ahead and said, INEC should go and deregister. How can INEC that have told you under oath and affidavit that I cannot deregister them because they have met all the requirements? And they did a fantastic job in this one. So I salute Professor Amopota and the people before him for standing on what is right on this one. They did a good job. They told you they cannot. And now you grant another. Because you know, this case will not go anywhere. This is a mere academic exercise, but this is a risk and a rascality taken too far. Because you're trying to demarcate people. You're trying to weaken some of these political parties. It doesn't change anything. Nobody can stop them from being on the ballot. Unless you don't want this thing to work. It is their constitutional right. And this is wrong, what he has done. And that's why we said the necessary petitions are moving in tomorrow to NJC. Nigerians are watching you, that you must do the necessary and take him out. And show Nigerians that there is zero tolerance to this kind of audacity. Audacity that has to do with content and treason, judicial treason, where you will torpedo the orders of appeal court, where you will torpedo, 3 judgments of Federal High Court, appeal court judgment, Supreme Court judgment, delivered a few weeks and days ago, and a restraining order to stop from proceeding of appeal court. A judge ignores all of them and goes and says INEC should go and register political parties. Even when INEC has filed under affidavit and oath that ADC have 2 House of Rep seats in 2023, that Accord have a House of Assembly seat, that AA have a seat, that ZLP have a seat, NRM and so on and so on, and APP have a seat in Jigawa, that we cannot register. You still went ahead and said, you must go and do it. So, I know most people will say, yes, I'm very bitter and angry. Yes, I'm bitter because I'm a good student of history. Yes, if I've used abusive word on somebody, sorry about that. But this is not about time to sit on the fence. It's about what belongs to me, you, and our children, not him. It's just one individual. Because after God comes the judgment on here on earth. And it's not about judgment, it's about the perception and the belief that justice has been done. People are complaining about post-2023 election litigations and issues, and now we have started to lay a foundation where you abuse appeal court judgment, you abuse Supreme Court judgment, you abuse Federal High Court judgment in a matter that has been expressly interpreted and say, I'll do my own, let them go to appeal. And even the appeal, you're talking about grants and order of stay of proceedings against you, you say to her with the appeal court, and then you do. For stealing appeal court to her, this man must be dealt with in accordance with the law. Because other judges who have abused restraining order of stay of proceedings from the Court of Appeal have been punished and dealt with. If you don't do this, you have just destroyed everything our founding fathers has worked. So for members of our party, APP, there's no shaking on the ballot. As a matter of fact, we're starting our mobilization by next week, and that will go on. We'll be on the ballot. There's none of these things can stop our party from being on the ballot, because we have gotten up to Supreme Court judgment that have said INEC must feed us on the ballot, and there's no shaking about it. But I'm just appealing to all of us of democracy, to MBA, to stop. This is not time for press conference or anything. This is time to take decisive action as a body. That your profession is under attack, integrity of your profession is under attack, the respect judgment have is being diminished. Tonight, say nobody will enter that court until NJC takes a position on what the man has done by trying to torpedo superior judgments of court. It's very important that these decisions must be taken, and they must be taken now. So there's no cause for alarm, like I said before. All I'm raising this alarm is because let us not go back to the crisis of 1963, 83, the Wild West, the June 12, the June 10, 1993 ruling of Justice Ikenga, and all those things that led to crisis. Like now in the North, people are now looking at it that, somebody is trying to use him to ensure that most of the Northern candidates who are in the ADC are not featured on the ballot. Tension is flaying up there. It may be difficult for some people to go there and campaign if you think you can remove them from the ballot. We don't want this kind of thing to continue to escalate. And then the one that are filing again on NDC, we advise them remove hand, because these things, you get to a point when Nigerian citizens and young people say, okay, what do you want us to do? You don't want us to do this democracy again or what? So let's not get to that point. Are you getting me? People who want to sell land can go and be selling their land and doing their thing, but we must protect our judiciary, we must protect our democracy, we must protect the principle of participating democracy. And I'm calling on all members of APP, continue your activities. Once the campaign starts, keep doing your activities. APP have been declared a validly registered political party that cannot be deregistered, that must be fielded in the ballot for 2027 general election, as ruled by 3 Federal High Court judgments, 1 appeal court judgment, and Supreme Court judgment. And likewise, most of other political parties. So by God's grace, all the political parties will participate in the election, and let the Nigerian people choose who they want. Today, you might be smiling that you are doing it, but just look at what Abacha nearly led us into. And then look at how we managed to come out of it. And then look at what worse people can do if we allow this kind of nonsensical activities to stand. It becomes a risk for our country. It puts us in danger and puts us on the same path of Nkurunziza's Burundi, Paul Biya's Cameroon, what they call him, Nkurunziza of Burundi, or Yedema of Togo. We don't need to go to those political paths. And the end that comes out of it is total destruction. So on that note, I want to thank Nigerians who have listened to me. and urge everybody to continue to remain vigilant, because eternal vigilance is the price we pay for freedom, and together we ensure that there's participatory space for everybody. Those who say they don't want participatory democracy should know that they're also asking for an end to democracy, and we're not praying for that. I wish Nigerian people all the best. Thank you, and God bless.